Hey Falcon fans, I'm Thomas Mott. Welcome to Atlanta Falcons today. We've just seen the number 8 overall pick in the NFL Draft go. I'm jumping on this video as quickly as I possibly can to break down Drake London, the wide receiver out of USC to the Atlanta Falcons. Wow, I'm surprised. I'm very, very surprised here. Listen, the draft was falling very, very interestingly, right? The corners were both gone. The pass rushers were essentially gone. Jermaine Johnson was lingering. Cal Hamilton was lingering, still available at number 8. But they go with the big wide receiver out of USC. Now, again, this is not what I would have wanted if I'm a Falcon fan. Now, is Drake London a great player? Yes, 100%. He's probably the best wide receiver in this draft alongside Garrett Wilson and Jamison Williams. He's fantastic. He's big. He's physical. You compare him to Mike Evans as kind of the big player comp when you look at someone already in the National Football League. Yes, the ankle being broken early in the season this past year was definitely an issue. He's healthy according to everything that we've heard. The problem is need. Obviously, they need a wide receiver, and we'll talk about that here in just one second. Obviously, a wide receiver is a big-time need, but you win games with Drake London this year? Is that really the overall thought process of, I'm going to win more games because I have Drake London versus, say, a pass rusher or a safety making the defense better, right? It's just an interesting pick. Again, London's a great player, and I don't want to poo-poo on any Falcon fans who's excited to have another weapon on the outside. Again, you need one, but at the same time, it's just very, very interesting that Atlanta continues to forego trying to get a pass rusher, trying to improve the defensive line, and being obsessed with these, receivers on the outside. Kyle Pitts at 4 last year, and now you go Drake London at 8. They're going to be big, they're going to be tall, they're going to be athletic on the outside, but is it going to help you win games right now? That is going to be the overall question. Let's get your reaction. One-word reaction to the pick. Mine's shocked. I'm shocked that they went ahead and got a wide receiver. Again, we'd heard rumblings about this. We'd heard that Atlanta was aggressively going to go get a wide receiver. I still very surprised by this pick. Give me your one-word reaction down below right now. Now, on the positive side, because I don't just want to poo-poo this pick the entire time. It's not like he's going to be a bad football player. Look at this offense right now. You have Marcus Mariota as your starting quarterback, at least for now, unless they want to go ahead and get another quarterback. Time of filming this video, again, right after the 8th pick. They haven't have a quarterback just yet. But you need weapons for Mariota on the outside. Alameda Zaccheaus would have been your number 1 wide receiver going into the draft tonight. Alameda Zaccheaus, think about that. Maybe they're sitting back going, okay, I know we need pass rusher, I know we need linebacker, we need a cornerback, we need a safety, but we have nobody to throw to, and that's why they went ahead and got Drake London out of USC. Now, Drake London with Kyle Pitts is going to be a matchup nightmare. Let's just make that very, very clear. Again, I'm not saying he's going to be a bad player, even though I don't like the pick. I think, need is a little bit different than actually be a player being good or not, but Kyle Pitts and Drake London, if both of them turn out to be as good as we expect them to be, and Kyle Pitts is very much already that, you're talking about two very tough matchups on the outside. How are you going to guard that, right? Because most cornerbacks are nowhere near as big as the 6'5 Drake London, and most linebackers and safeties can't even compete with Kyle Pitts. You're going to have a lot of one-on-one opportunities because you can't double both of them for each of these new young players, and perhaps you're creating a very good young core of weapons on the outside for the Atlanta Falcons. Again, when you have Alameda Zaccheaus as your number 1 receiver, it does make some sense that you need to go ahead and get one. My question is now going to be, what's the next pick, right? Early in round 2, unless they trade back up. You got to start thinking defense is going to be the big need. We'll talk about that in a second, but this is just... this is the NFL draft. It's wild. It's crazy. And we had heard Drake London. We had heard Garrett Wilson. I think once Thibodeau went at number 5 overall, that was kind of the lock that they weren't going to go ahead and go pass rusher because maybe they didn't like Jermaine Johnson. Maybe they, thought he wasn't high enough to be a top 10 draft pick. But overall, it is the USC wide receiver in Drake London. Okay, we're going to try to get to 6,000 subs here by the end of the NFL draft. I'm going to break down basically every single pick. We're going to do grades, obviously, coming up in a later video. Grade this pick as well. We're at 5,462 in terms of our subscribers to this channel. 5,462. Let's get to 6K by the end of this draft as the Falcons have plenty more picks, whether you like Drake London or you don't, to go ahead and improve this roster. Go down below, hit that red subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up as well. Now, this really is going to be interesting to see what they do in terms of quarterback. Maybe they like Marcus Mariota. That's something we haven't really thought about, right? It's like, oh, Marcus Mariota is going to be this bridge guy. Now, they can still draft somebody in round 2. He could still be the bridge guy, but you're talking about an offense where they hope the offensive line is better. Caleb McGarry in a contract year. He's beefed up this offseason. Maybe the offensive line is better than what it's been the past couple of years. Mariota's mobility can help out with that, and perhaps they're expecting to be able to score on some of these defenses in the NFC. You look around the NFC right now, the Saints defense is nowhere near as good as it once was. Tampa Bay's is aging a little bit, and really, they got beat up a lot in the passing game this past season. Good against the run, but bad against the pass. And Carolina is still kind of a question mark as a football team as a whole. So maybe they think, hey, we're not trying to fully go for it this year because obviously not a Super Bowl caliber roster, but we can win more games than people expect and it not be a rebuilding year by going Kyle Pitts last year and Drake London this season. So it is fascinating to see how this is happening. And again, Drake London, the wide receiver, to me is absolutely crazy. Let's get a grade on this pick. I'm going to do a full video on this later, but give me your grade on the Drake London pick here at number 8 overall. A, B, C, D, or F. What is your grade? Like, overall grade, I'm at a B minus, C plus. That's tough. Go in the comment section. I want to gauge the Falcon fan base right now. A, B, C, D, or F. Let me know down below in the comment section right now. All right, remaining draft needs are very, very clear. Obviously, they got to get a quarterback at some point in this draft. They said so themselves. They will get one. You look for Desmond Ridder maybe in round 2, and Matt Corral. That'd be my pick to be the heir apparent to Matt Ryan after he, of course, sits a little bit because all these quarterbacks are very, very raw. They desperately need a pass rusher. I mean, that has got to be a big-time need here in round 2. Maybe you trade up late into round 1, although not a lot of guys you like late up in round 1. Of course, filming this video, it's right after the 8th pick, so we don't know what's going to happen up to this point. They obviously still need another wide receiver. I think you get Drake London doesn't mean you can't get somebody in round 3, 4. They need a running back big time. Hopefully they spend that on maybe a Breece Hall or a Kenneth Walker out of Michigan State. There are needs everywhere. I mean, you talk about the Falcon needs that are happening right now. Pass rusher is number 1. I mean, we're talking about right now, pass rusher remains number 1. You make the case, offensive line is up there. They still need a number 2 wide receiver. They for sure need a running back. Linebacker can be kind of high, although Deion Jones, as of right now, remains on the roster. So I'll go pass rusher as my biggest remaining need right now for the Atlanta Falcons, as they are desperately in need of getting to the quarterback. You can score a lot of points. You can't stop anybody, as we saw last year. That can be a problem, although in the end, maybe it's going to be just a fun game to watch each week in and out as they throw the football over the football field with Drake London and Kyle Pitts. So, just to wrap it up, Drake London, number 8 overall, the wide receiver out of UFC. Many consider to be the best wide receiver in this draft. It's going to be fascinating to see how he fits, how he plugs in. You assume he's the number 1 player on the outside in terms of catching the football alongside Kyle Pitts. The pairing of those two, are we going to look back on this as one of the great pairings in terms of offensive weapons in the National Football League, or are we going to continue to see the glaring holes at offensive line and defensive line on this roster for many, many years to come? That is the real question. All right, we'll end on this. Will Drake London be a starter right away? You guys know he will be. Obviously, he will be a starter right away. Type S down below for starter, or go ahead and type B down below for bench. He's going to be a starter. I mean, come on. I mean, this depth chart is full of nobodies at the wide receiver position, so they go wide receiver. I mean, this is... It's what we were all kind of thinking in our heads, like, oh, are they going to go wide receiver? And in the end, they went ahead and did it. And I think that, one, Arthur Blank loves receivers. I think that he's desperate to have, some showtime-ness out there on the field. And two, the pass rushers and tackles that they liked early on, and the corners, especially with Sauce Gardner and Stingley going 3 and 4, kind of forced their hand to go wide receiver here at number 8. I would have liked to trade back, but in the end, it's Drake London, your newest Atlanta Falcon here in the 2022 NFL Draft. All right, plenty more breakdowns on this channel. Make sure you guys are subscribed. We are going to go crazy with breakdowns the rest of the 3 days here. I mean, I got the mobile setup, the setup at home. We're going to go nuts, so be sure to subscribe down below. We'll keep you guys updated on what the Falcons do. For Atlanta Falcons today, I'm Thomas Mott, signing off. For the rest of your day.